Hey guys, what's up? This is Zari on episode 2 of Racial Profiling, Sylvans Part 1, Pre-Primal Origin. Pure Legacy of the Valiant build. Jumping right in, gonna give a quick cursory glance of everything we got. We got 3 Shinras. Damn it, Death Bro. Sylvan Spirit Tree Regia. 3 Sylvan Stoolwets. Or Sylvan Coma Shrumo, which... if this video ever gets to be big, and somebody knows what the hell, what the pun, what the wordplay here is, please tell me. It's driving me nuts. I mean, we have 3 Marshall Leafs, of course, and Marshall Leaf makes sense. It's a Marshall, and it flows with Leaf. That's sensical. Peacekeeper. It's a Peacekeeper, and it's peas. But what the fuck is a Kama Shrumo? Going on, those are 3 of plants. Going under 2 ofs now. We, of course, have 2 Lone Fire Blossoms, because it's fucking Lone Fire Blossom. Anyone who says we should have less than this, less than the max allowed at any time for a given plant deck, needs to be put down. 2 Shinra Sylvan. I keep, like, bordering between saying one and the other, and it's starting to get to me. Sylvan Flower Knight, or Shinra Knightsis, as it is in the OCG. This is our basic searcher, and it doesn't add to hand, but it does stack our deck, and it can be any Sylvan card, so, you know, Sylvan Sacred, Sylvan Peak, Mount Sylvania, or really just anything, in case we already have the field spell on the field, and make those preemptive next turn plays, I guess you can say. You know, because, really good thing about this card, as long as you have the field spell and it's not destroyed, this lets you it lets you mind game your opponent. They know that, if they know the effects, they know that something of theirs is going to get destroyed if they play the wrong thing. But this, they'll know what it is. Or maybe not if they didn't bother reading the card. But, yeah, it effectively locks them out of playing a certain type of card unless they can protect it. And, 1-offs. Tree Fender Orc, just because it restacks the deck, and again, it's good synergy with this thing. With the Mount Sylvania. Aside from that, there's a very big reason. As you can see, we have 1 of each. The main encompassing goal here is I'm trying to run 1 of each level that I can. And reason why is, of course, Spore. Because we're just going to take a brief look at our extra deck that's 1 different level, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different leveled synchros, and we want to make Spore be able to accommodate this. So, yeah, we have a lot of level diversity in our deck, which is, of course, sensical in this deck given what it does and how it operates. And single copy of Copy Plant, because some people opt for more, from what I've seen of different Sylvan builds, but I think 1 is just right, because a little card called Miracle Fertilizer, which we run at 3, exists. And I'll get into a little bit more of this later, but gist of it, take a Flower Knight, take a Copy Plant, get any level 8 synchro. We don't run any 4s or 6s, so those are sadly up, but Copy Plant alone can also accommodate damn well anything else aside from Mistworm here. And of course Star Eater, given we don't have any level 10s in the deck. Sad day indeed, but hey, do what we gotta. Still gets out, let's see. Well, mainly Black Rose here with Shinra Tree Fender and Armades with this. Anyways, moving on. 1 Dandelion, because it's just pro tech in any plant deck. I mean, you know, free formula synchrons with Spore, Copy Plant, and even then a single token left over, free Tribute Fodder for Lone Fire, all basic plant stuff. And not just that, but if it happens to be destroyed on your opponent's turn, I mean, you know, free Tribute Fodder if you can't get it out otherwise. And finally, for the monster count, we have 2 Flower Princesses. We have Chirabime, Princess of Autumn Leaves, because she is a gigantic ass. She forces the enemy to focus their attacks on her. And of course, she has a pseudo Lone Fire effect where she'll just replace herself with anything from the deck when she's sent to the graveyard. And aside from that, Titanio, Princess of Camellias, as another tech option, because I mean, look at all the weak plants we have. That's what I'm getting at. If we don't have a Sylvan Peak, we can't stack the deck. Whatever, we don't want to stack the deck for whatever reason. We just want the protection. She can contribute a plant to negate unaffected targets. So yeah, that's This is a pretty brutal card, and I'm looking to get one soon before, if this happens to take off. Maybe this won't be a money card, but it's definitely a good tech choice to have. Maybe sided even. I just like maining it for now. Finally, moving on to spells. Like I pointed out earlier, 3 Miracle Fertilizers, and 3 because while you give up your normal summon, having multiples allows you to use it multiple times. So I have 2 on the field, I can bring out 2 trees from the graveyard, which is, at least into the mid-game, even the early game plausibly, is not a very uncommon situation. This, that happens more than you would think. So, and if you overlay with the 2 monsters you bring out, I mean, first of all, these don't go away, so this stays when the card leaves the field, but in the case of a rank 8, for instance, and we're using these 2, these aren't technically leaving the field, so Miracle Fertilizer stays in play for future abuse on a following turn. And, you know, we like our rank 8 plays, not gonna lie. Felgrand's a bitch, Heliopolis is a giant asshole. Alce is pretty damn good all on his own, and Galaxy Eye just for game clinching if, you know, why not? 3 MST, standard. 3 Mounsylvanias, I think standard, personally. 1 Terraform, because we need to see that field spell more often until, Primal Origin. 1 Foolish Burial, because, just smart choice, given a lot of the options we can give ourselves with Spore, or Dandy, or even Lone Fire. If we, you know, use this as a clutch situational play. I mean, we still -1, but sometimes we do what we gotta do, and this helps, just perpetuate what we have to do in such a way that we can actually do it. And moving on to traps, I only run 7, 3 Call of the Haunted, because I'm really liking the spammier version. I mean, sure I die to Vanity's Emptiness, but for the payoff in game 1, I think I'll take it. Not to mention, if I ever get a side effect going for this thing, I can just anticipate, side out. And the obvious choice is one of each of the forbidden quadruplets, quad something. And chicken time, so I can go into the extra deck. 7 minutes, we're making good time. Finally, a quick look at the extra deck, just some obvious, a lot of it's pretty obvious, I think, but there are definitely some ways we can work around. Some builds run a Mystical Seed Mitra, which it's a new plant tuner from Legacy of the Valiant, of course, and in English it's actually Mystic Macrocarpa Seed. Just pulled out my copy just to look at it. Which is, in that case, if people run that, I mean free Beast or Barkion, because it does modify its own level between 1 and 3. So some people opt to run that, and if they do, they can run the Naturia Beast, of course, or... yeah. But it's very limited in its scope, just because it can only grab an Earth monster, so, our choices, really, Naturias, Scrap, and, Leo, with, you know, Big Tree, so we effectively have 4 good options with Mystic Macrocarpa Seed. But, I don't believe it's worth running just because, well, I don't run those beasts either, but, it's just, I mean, kind of slow, I think. If you do opt to run it, you can run a Melee of the Trees as well with Crane. That's the general engine people use. And it does work wonders when it works, is the thing. I, for one, have found Crane too inconsistent in Macrocarpa Seed. Just, you know, if it's in the grave, there's usually better things to revive. If it's in my hand, I mean, I'm relying on my normal summon, otherwise I have this, so it's very rare there'll be a situation where I can just normal summon this and bring something big out where I'm not already winning anyways. Not to mention, Beast and Barkion's best function is usually being played turn 1, and... well, you have amazing turn 1 plays already that completely outdo anything you could do with Mystic Macrocarpa Seed at any point, I think. Though maybe if you can't do that, maybe you could do something with Macrocarpa, but that's for the testing. For now, just theory crafting. So yeah, back to the main point I was trying to get to. Extra deck, Formula Synchron, obvious given what we have in the deck. TG Hyper Librarian, if we ever get lucky enough to Hyper Synchro. I mean, come on, we have all we need to Hyper Synchro. Armades, because he is a fucking badass. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Ancient Fairy, because the field spell war is a thing still, at least sometimes. Black Rose, obvious. Scrap Dragon, because, yeah, plenty of things we can nix. Plenty. Crimson Blader, because level 5s and higher are still very much a thing. Stardust Spark Dragon, and I don't run normal Stardust, but a Stardust Spark because amazing synergy with this in that he can protect it from destroying itself. Mistworm because I just like it. Leo, Guardian of the Great Tree, because this card is not getting enough hype. I think it is amazing, personally. Cannot be targeted by anything the opponent has until main phase 2. And at that point, unless they have a Mirror Force or something, it's gonna do what it has to do. And Star Raider, because it is easy as shit to make the thing in this deck. Not gonna lie. And I have heard of, Dragon Tex as well. Dragon Roller Tex, and I tried it initially, back when these things were first announced. Back when they were 2, but not 2, that's the OCG right now. Back when they were 3, before January ban list, and wasn't a fan, personally. Felt really gimmicky. It felt like I was making a weak Dragon Roller plant deck, as opposed to a strong Sylvan deck with just the dragons teched in. And I was just running 2 blasters and 2 Redux. Didn't have the Sylvan feel, I guess I should say. Moving on to our Exceeds, the 4 best rank 8s, I believe, right now. Felgrand for top spot for sure. I'll say because it gets around things immune to destruction and whatnot. Heliopolis because it just wipes fields, and Tachyon Dragon for game clinching. If we ever need to clinch a game past, you know, the materials we have on the field. Which can be a thing sometimes. Maybe the enemy has Messenger of Peace face up on the field or something. Oh, Messenger of Peace. Alright, well, that's just one situation. It is a thing that happens. People do main Insided for varying decks, and I've seen it done. I don't think it's a bad option, personally. Some decks do falter to it. Depends on who you're fighting, really. But, yeah, that was deck profile for, Sylvans pre-Primal Origin. And, we'll be moving on to part 2 of a post-Primal Origin build. Just a sneak peek, I suppose. Yeah, shit is sexy. But, yeah, people, that's that. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll be back with part 2 tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Sorry, signing off.